Welcome to Survive and Advance on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. Survive and Advance is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. To find out more about MyBookie.ag, go to the top of the GruelingTruth.com page, click on the banner, and it will give you up to 100% cashback bonus up to your first $300 deposit. And you can also go to MyBookie.ag and put in a promo code TGT100. I am your co-host for Survive and Advance, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in my co-host, 1981 national champion with the Indiana Hoosiers, a member of the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, another great day out here. Doing fine. Looking forward to learning about a new sport here today.
All right, and that brings us to our new sport and our new guest. We've been inundated with the NFL draft for the last 2 weeks, and now we get a little bit something different. And I want to welcome from the American Cornhole Organization, the president, Frank Geers. How you doing, Frank?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, so for the people out there, and I found out yesterday by just bringing your name up on the show, that there's people that don't know what cornhole is. I'm from Indiana. Everybody in Indiana knows what cornhole is. But for anybody out there that maybe doesn't know, do you want to explain it to them just a little bit?
Yeah, cornhole, its roots really recently, as of like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, came from the tailgating side of society where, it's a backyard tailgating game where two platforms or boards sit 27 feet apart from one another. Generally, the boards are 2 foot by 4 foot with a 6-inch hole punched out towards the top of the board. People pitch to those platforms from across each other, and a bag lands on the board, stays on the board. That's called a woody, worth 1 point. A bag going in the hole is worth 3 points. Each team ends up getting 4 chances to pitch a bag, and they rotate back and forth pitching those bags. And at the end of all 8 bags being pitched out, the score is netted out. So if one team scored 10 points and the other team scored 8 points, the team getting 10 scores 2 points as they race to be the first team to 21. There is no bust rule. It's just the first team to finish scoring 21 wins that game or that match.
Now, when is the first time you remember seeing a cornhole game played, or when's the first time you played it yourself?
It was at a Bengals football game here in Cincinnati. I'm a Cincinnati native, and it was at a tailgating function down there. And at that point in time, I was in the marketing industry. And doing that, I was always looking for creative ways to market businesses, and this was back in the early 2000s. So I saw this game and was playing it with my buddies drinking a beer in the parking lot during a tailgating event. And while down there, I realized that these boards were a perfect way for companies to market themselves. Put a Coca-Cola logo on there, a Domino's Pizza logo, or a Budweiser logo, and the bags the same way. So I came back to work, and I was in a marketing business, and started looking into this game, and didn't find really anybody out there that was making higher end products. So I started a business to actually be a products manufacturing company and make high-end boards and bags with corporate logos and things on them. But as I got involved with that, Carson Palmer from the Cincinnati Bengals had a event that used to be a golf outing that he switched over to this cornhole event. My heart caught wind of that. I started researching making higher-end boards and became an event organizer as well, and was able to hook up with Carson Palmer. And that was really kind of the kickstart to me becoming American Cornhole. I had gone out and purchased the domain name back in 2004, I think it was, AmericanCornhole.com. Started building rules and regulations around the sport as I realized that I wanted to take this backyard game to another level, where I was seeing people playing it competitively. In the midst of doing all that, we came out with a 2-sided bag that was made. One side was a stickier side with a synthetic suede. The other side was a slick side. So it actually added some more depth to the game itself and more strategy to the game, because now people could consider throwing blockers to keep people from sliding in the hole. So that's kind of a little bit of the history of how I got involved with the sport.
All right, Steve?
We were kind of joking before we started here. I've gone through your rules. You kind of seem to almost have more rules to this game than golf, and it's pretty sticky here. What are some of the major rules that in a tournament that players got to abide by?
Well, I mean,
I saw things like you can't grease the board, so basically no spitters.
No spitters.
No greasing the board.
Well, actually, that is interesting that you say that because we have run across issues. We had a big event in Valdaria, Georgia, years ago. It was like a $10,000 purse event that we had down there. And we did have some issues after the tournament where there was some people that claimed that some other people were doctoring the bags because the weather was not good. The bags were having problems. They were sliding off the boards or not sliding in the rain, and there was belief that people were taking their bags back to the car and putting some kind of weather spray can, something or other, on the bags, fixing their bags, waxing them basically so they would slide better into the hole, and they were cheating the system. So there was, issues where you talk about spitting on the boards and stuff like that. There have been issues with people doctoring the equipment to make it easier for the bags to slide in the hole, whether it be adjusting something to the board or adjusting something to the bag. So what the ACO did to kind of counter that is we provide the equipment for our players to play with at our bigger events. We do not allow people to bring in their own bags. Everybody needs to be playing with the same style bag or the same opportunity to play with the same equipment. So that was one of the ways we got away from people doctoring our equipment at the major level. Now, some of the basic rules of the game are real simple. There's an imaginary line in the backyard when you're playing. That is the front edge of the board. But when we were on tournament play, we do actually put a foot fault line. So a player is not allowed to step across that line when they are pitching a bag. Another important rule when you're playing as a doubles team, you don't stand diagonally. You stand directly across, from the players. You're not supposed to heckle, and you're not allowed to touch the other player when they are pitching their bags. You're not supposed to touch any of the bags on the board while people are still pitching. But the basic rules are simple. Again, there's that foot fault line to the front side of it. You rotate back and forth who pitches bags. And again, it's 1 point on the board, 3 points in the hole. Those are the basic rules. And that's one of the things that's so beautiful about Cornhole is the rules are very simple. The equipment is very simple for somebody to go out and manufacture on their own to get started in the game. It is a sport that anybody can play, whether you're 8 or 80. And, most people do enjoy it. It's a great social event, whether you're in the backyard with a barbecue picnic or, whether you're on the beach or in a bowling alley. It can be set up anywhere. It's portable, safe, and easy to play.
All right. You have referees? Do you have referees that are actually on each lane?
It's mostly at our bigger events. It's self-governing all the way up to the championship match. In the championship match, we will sit, a referee to be a line judge to make sure people are not, foot falling and stuff. But through our bigger tournaments, where we'll have, 100, 200 teams competing, at those tournaments, the players themselves, govern their game. And if there's any question that somebody might be breaking a rule, they're allowed to come track down one of our officials at the event to bring them over there to watch what's going on.
Now, do you have very many controversies because of that, or does the self-governing way seem to take care of itself?
The self-governing way has taken care of itself mostly over the years. There's been occasional issue that has cropped up that we've had to step in, but honestly, the players that play the game are very respectful of one another. There's confrontations every now and then, but in the American Cornhole Organization, or the ACO, it really has become a strong family of players across the country. So a lot of these players have played against each other and other cities, other venues, and they've all, grown to like and enjoy one another's company and enjoy coming back out for the next win, our next event. And it is, heavy competition, but nobody really wants to win a game by cheating. So self-governing has worked out very well for us.
All right, and I know that Go ahead, Steve.
You've never played cornhole at Goodpaster.
What's that
He'll
mean?
definitely take a win. He'll definitely take a win with cheating. No big deal. A win's a win as far as he's concerned.
Well, yeah, because that's true. A win is a win. The other thing I don't like about this is if you can't talk crap to the guy next to you, doesn't that take a lot of the fun out of sports?
Really?
Well, you can talk crap to him when he's not pitching if you want to, but if we have occasional, on the fun side, where the nights before our big majors, Thursday night, usually when we'll hit like a big brewery in town or something like that to do a welcome bash. Those are the fun times in the bars where you can do the smack talk and everybody's having a blast there. When you get to the competitive level and somebody's trying to win big money or get to center stage to be streamed from center court or to win the big trophy or title or chasing points to get to the world championships, at that point you're not messing around too much. You're dead serious on trying to win that game.
See, I'm not messing around when I'm talking like that, though. I'm doing it to get in somebody's head, so that's all part of my process.
Part of your strategy?
Yeah. I mean, if I can make him mad, it's like Risley. I mess with him all the time.
He doesn't make me mad anymore. Just get over it.
No, see, because I broke him, and that's the whole point of being that way.
There you go.
You know what we need to do is get you two out to the World Championships, and maybe we'll stream from Top Golf Vegas a match on Saturday, July 6th. If we get both you guys out there, we'll do a head-to-head match. We'll stream it nationwide for everybody to check you guys do some smack talking back and forth.
Yes, I am all in for that, Steve.
Why would I want to go back to the Midwest for just nothing?
No, it's in Las Vegas, dude. I could get a trip out there.
Drive there,
yeah.
5 hours, 4 hours away from Las Vegas. I'm here.
When are the Worlds in Las Vegas? Isn't that in July?
Yeah, the Worlds are in Las Vegas, July 1st through the 6th. We've got a big welcome bash on Monday night. It's open to anybody on Monday night, and we're going to be doing that welcome bash at the Top Golf in Vegas. And then the rest of the week, we're going to be doing the main event at a place called the Westgate Casino and Resort. So we'll be playing our main competition at the Westgate Casino and Resort throughout the week. There is an event that the general public is able to jump into that is called the Tailgater World Championships. That's not only going to be cornhole, but we're doing like ladder golf. There's a new product out there called Whirlpool bags, which is a cornhole board that's kind of wavy. We're probably going to do a little bit of beer pong. I think while we are there, the World Championships of beer pong is going to be at the Westgate as well. So that'll be a pretty happening place for tailgaters and people that like music and partying that weekend at the Westgate. And then the July 6th, that Saturday, we are going to be at the Top Golf Vegas broadcasting from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight, all of our championship games, and also doing our after-hours party there. So anybody that happens to be in Vegas July 6th should stop by Top Golf Vegas if they want to check out some of the best players on the planet competing for the world titles there. So that'll be a lot of fun. But like I said, we get the two of you guys out there prior to kicking off our games at 4 o'clock. We might be able to showcase you in a little head-to-head match between the two of you guys.
I think that's an outstanding idea, Steve. What do you think?
I'll check my schedule.
No, it's not you'll check your schedule. You've got nothing else to do. You watch The Young and the Restless all the time. I think this would be a great matchup. Me and Steve playing cornhole in Vegas. We can. I think we could go best out of 7, Frank, and make this pay-per-view and make you a ton of money.
I like it. Let's do it.
I'm getting the message here, Frank, that it sounds like, except probably at your highest level, cornhole is another reason to drink. Because the only way I know cornhole is, like you said, I learned it going to Colts games, tailgating, and the only way I can play cornhole is if I got a Bloody Mary in my left hand and the beanbag in the right hand. Otherwise, I get them down. That's the only way I ever play cornhole.
And you're allowed to do that. That's why we're going to be at the Top Golf Vegas. They have lots of cold drinks flowing there.
There you go.
Yeah, at 9 o'clock in the morning when you're tailgating, for a 1 o'clock Colts game, you start with the Bloody Marys right immediately, and you're like, okay, now let's play cornhole, and it's amazing. So I don't know, and I see you have rules of no alcohol, no tobacco, which I don't smoke, so that's no big deal. No illegal substances, Remember, marijuana's legal in California. So
what's that mean,
I don't
Steve? That you're
smoke
going to do
pot.
that?
No, I don't do.
Oh, okay.
I don't do drugs. Period. But you're gonna have to have a division in here that allows Bloody Mary. The Bloody Mary division or something like that. So games generally played in the morning at tailgate games. You remember?
Yeah, but I think there could be a special exemption made for this.
Drink all you want. We allow drinking and actually don't necessarily encourage it, but most of our players drink during the course of a tournament.
I don't drink anymore. Anyway, I quit drinking a long time ago.
So I can tell you this: I am all in, Risley. The ball's in your court, or the bag, as that may be.
The bag. All right. Frank, do you have? Okay, a couple questions for you here.
You notice how he's going to get off the subject, Frank. We don't get an answer.
Oh, I've got it marked down. I'm going to put it in the program for sure. And
okay.
If you don't show
Goodpaster claims that he was a state champion cornhole or somewhere.
I never said that. I said I used to beat. Put it like this, Steve. I'll beat you at anything we ever play in. You're not man enough to beat me at anything except for watching the young and the restless.
Well, Mike claims to be a cornhole champion. I think he's probably talking a little bit of different cornhole.
No, Aspen Ridge. Anyway. I was the cornhole champion.
Frank,
we might be able to pair you guys up with. We might be able to pair you guys up with some of our previous kings who maybe don't make the cut for the final game. So to pair you guys up with an outstanding pro player.
I don't have to be with Steve, right? Because I don't want to lose. Because he hadn't won anything since 1981.
You'd be playing against Steve, so we'd give each of you a partner that would be a past champion.
Frank, do you have tiers? I mean, or do you just come in and there's only one level of play, or do you have like novice, advanced?
Oh, that's a great question. It's a really good question. So the way it works at the World Championships is everybody is competing in the same. So we have what's called the World Singles and the World Doubles. Those are the two primary divisions. Then we have seniors, women's, juniors, co-ed. But when it comes to the World Singles, the way that works is everybody starts the tournament. The 350 to 500 players that'll be coming in from 30 states. We do have 5 Germans that are coming this year. I think we might have a couple from Switzerland coming now. We did have 9 Australians that competed last year. But all those players start in one big division, and they play in what's called a mini pool. So we'll put 10 players into a mini pool, and they play that pool through. The winner of those 10 advances to the big tournament, and then each grouping, like we'll take second and third place, fall into tier 2, and then the fourth, fifth, and sixth fall into tier 3.
So that's in the golf tournament.
Yeah, that's how we kind of put you into the group that you belong in at the World Championships.
Okay, what constitutes seniors?
Seniors is 55 plus.
That'd be you, Steve.
I'm 60. I don't have to compete against Goodpaster at all. I'm 60.
Yeah, you do, because I'm 50, and that's close enough.
Division.
See, I mean, you just told me you're afraid.
Do you have separate divisions for women, or do women compete with the men?
Well, we have a separate women's division, so women do have the opportunity to play within their own group, but we have most of the women also choose to play in the what's called the World Singles. The World Singles is open to anybody, any age, any sex. Can play in the World Singles, but to be a women's division, you have to be a female, obviously. The seniors 55 plus, and the juniors is 1700.
All right, two-part question for you here. You have world rankings, I see, and I'll have you explain that how you determine the world rankings. And do you have traveling players? Do you have players that travel the circuit and play in all tournaments? Is that how you determine your world rankings, or is this pretty much just a tournament-by-tournament setup, or do you have a group of players that follow you around and go to all tournaments?
Yeah, so we have a tour. It's called the ACO Tour. The tour starts in September, so our new season starts in September. We'll run tournaments. So this past year we were in 24 different cities, and I think it was 21 different states. We went all the way up to Seattle to a place called Everett, Washington up there, had a major up there. We had a major down in Southern California, one in Las Vegas. We had one scheduled for Panama City Beach last year, but the hurricane wiped that out. We spent time in just about Tennessee. We were in Knoxville, Tennessee. Charleston, West Virginia. We were in Concord, North Carolina. We're in Augusta, Georgia. We're going to be down in Peachtree City, Georgia this year. We're up in Mannheim, which is Pennsylvania, which is up near. And at these tournaments, we'll have anywhere between as few as 80 to as many as 250 players that come and compete, generally coming in from 11, 12, 13 states. And it's these things are called majors that we try to drive our best players in to try to earn points towards their world ranking. So to answer your question, there is a tour, and our goal right now is we're working with several different networks next year, coming up for this next season, to not only get involved with helping us continue to push our live streaming programming, but also to work to broadcast some of our bigger majors from around the country. Now, we have developed our own digital network called wearecornhole.com. If you guys haven't had the chance to check that out, you should definitely check it out. There's really cool historical footage there from the early days, 13, 14 years ago, to the newest stuff, featuring last year's World Championships, which was in Montgomery, Alabama. We have since moved, like we told you, the World Championships to Vegas this year. I'm not certain, but discussion is on the table that we may just now keep the World Championships in Vegas moving forward, but that has yet to be determined.
What does can one make a living touring on cornhole? I mean, what does the prize money look like in these tournaments?
Last year's prize money was $68,000 at our World Championships. This year, don't know where it'll end up falling. It probably will be somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000-$50,000 in that range. There is prize money at various tournaments, anywhere between $2,000 to $10,000. Some of them don't have prize purses attached to them. We used to have big $20,000 purse tournaments where we did, I guess it was about 7 years ago, we did about 5 of those back to back in the springtime, and we really thought that there was just going to be about the money, and that would drive a bunch of people out there. We ended up not getting the participation that we thought we would by just throwing the money at it, because one of the things that the ACO has done over the years is develop the best players in the planet. And so it can't be all about the money. It really has to be about much more, because the majority of people aren't ever going to see the money. And so what it really has become more about is creating that high level of competition, trying to get some money in there for the top players, but creating the best overall experience for the cornhole person that comes and travels to compete in our tournaments. And that means providing them with great entertainment, great equipment, a great venue, great food, and great camaraderie. So yes, there is money on the table. The best player in the world probably earns somewhere around $40,000 to $50,000 a year, not just with earning money at ACO events, but it's just earning money playing cornhole in general, because there's so many different cash tournaments out there anymore, ranging between $1,000 to $20,000 purses, and even sometimes more. We just came back from a place called the Grand Casino in Minnesota. We don't have a lot of activity going on up in the Wisconsin, Minnesota market, but we ran an event this past weekend that had $6,000 prize money attached to it. We had 200 players, mostly coming in from Minnesota and Wisconsin, that competed there. Now, the cool thing about it is the casino was extremely excited about, what went down with working with the ACO there. So it looks like they're going to jump into doing 2 to 3 of those events and up in the ante. So it looks like, not certain yet, but we're going to have somewhere between $20,000 to $40,000 worth of prize giveaway just with that one group up in Minnesota next season. So, so money
you don't
is
give away
there. What's that?
You don't give away participation awards, do you? Please tell me you don't.
No, we have a toilet hole trophy we do give away. So I don't know if you guys ever played Gus Macker as a basketball
player. Yes, I did.
Oh yeah.
So when I was a kid, I won the toilet hole tournament. I got to tell you, it was the hardest tournament I've ever won in my life. It was hardcore.
Hey, I can tell you this real quick, Frank. We played a tournament in Bloomington where we lost our first game because this is back when I was like 20 years old, and we may have drank a little too much the night before. We lost our first game. We saw the toilet bowl trophy, and we figured we're going to go win that. And I've got the toilet bowl trophy. I'll even post a picture on Twitter of it. Now, we also won like 7 other Gus Macker tournaments because we used to drive all over the place in the late 80s and early 90s and play in those tournaments. The Gus Macker was awesome. They used to have it at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati.
That's where I played.
Me too.
And that's where I won my toilet hole tournament. I tell you, I was so proud of that darn trophy. I don't know what I did with it, though, but it was my favorite trophy. And I didn't win a lot of trophies, I guess, growing up. But that one was hard work for, man, and a great tournament. So we ended up I took the concept of the toilet bowl for the Gus Macker and just made the toilet hole years ago for the Cornhole losing tournament. And we actually had a plunger and something else that was the award. It was pretty funny. But that's the only consolation prize you get.
Okay, let's say we have my dear friend. First off, Mike Goodpaster. Mike, prize money up to $40,000-$50,000 a year. You double your income, buddy. You need to get into this. You know,
Risley, you run your mouth an awful lot for somebody who was offered to play me one-on-one in front of the whole world, and then you started talking, well, I got 2 other questions, because you're afraid. You're afraid to compete against me at anything, because you can't beat me at anything. You got a ring from 1981, Risley. That's all you got. That's like 150 years ago.
Okay. Let's say Mike Goodpaster, who said when we're going to have you on, he goes, he's going to enter the Cincinnati tournament, going to get in. He's a defending cornhole champion from somewhere.
Aspen Ridge
he can win this thing.
In Aurora, Indiana. That's where all the best cornhole players come from. Ain't that right, Frank?
How
wink.
does one get started in cornhole? Do you have to be certified? Do you have to go through an apprenticeship? Can you just sign up? Can Mike just go to the next tournament and sign up and say, I'm Mike Goodpaster. My head is bigger than anything in the world because I don't think anybody can beat me at anything.
Has anybody seen a picture of Steve Risley's head? It's gigantic. Go ahead.
Okay. So he comes in and he's supposed to sign up. What is the entry fee? What's an entry fee into the tournament?
Well, here's the tournament that I think that you should come to. You live in Indiana, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, about 20 minutes from Cincinnati.
No, that's what I thought.
Steve lives in California. You can tell because he's soft now. Go ahead.
Well, he has a chance to play, too, in the California tournament out there. But what I was going to say to you, Mike, is we have June 14th and 15th in Cincinnati, Ohio, is the ACO Conference Championships. The conference is called the Heartland Conference. It features Indiana players, Michigan players, Ohio players, and Kentucky players. You come and play in that, and you will absolutely be able to see some of the best players on the planet play cornhole. Matt Guy, Brett Guy, Eric Zockline, all between those 3 players, they have, I believe, 9 of our 13 championships under their belt. And now one of those guys, Matt Guy, has 7 of them. His son, Brett Guy, has 1, and Eric Zockline has 1, referred to as EZ. But those 3 guys will be at this tournament taking place here in Cincinnati on June 14th and 15th at Westside Live. But the details are on our website at AmericanCornhole.com. And we do have conference championships going on all over the country, but you have to live within that conference to play. I would be willing to give you a free entry to this tournament and a free membership because you have to be a member.
Free, by the way. I'll do anything that's free, Frank.
But I would be happy. Now you do have to find a partner if you want to play in the doubles.
But I don't have any friends, Frank. Nobody likes me.
But I like you, Mike.
Put the challenge on you to come out there and test your skills that 14th and 15th. The 15th is actually the day that singles go on, but Friday
Mike,
we do a big luck of the draw and some other stuff.
Mike, there's a major in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
There's one in
There
SoCal.
is a major every year in Indianapolis.
Now, my only question is this. I mean, if I'm playing like June the 14th, that's only 5 weeks. Do you think that's enough for me to go ahead and start hitting the steroids and lifting and be ready?
I don't know. The bags are only 1 pound. You don't have to do all the steroids. Just make sure, like you said, you get that nice cold cocktail in your hand, loosen up the joints a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So like I said, Frank, Mike could just conceivably show up at a tournament, register, and play. He doesn't have to have any kind of credentialing or anything like that to, like,
Nope, not for the conference championship. He does have to be a member, but we would give that to him. And if anybody out there, happens to be tuning into the show, they can certainly sign up for any of these conference championships if they want to and compete. They just have to be a member and play.
So you have to join to do this. You have to join the ACO, correct?
Yep.
And what does it cost to join the ACO?
Right now it's $25 to be a member, and to compete in the tournaments. I think there's a $40. I believe it is a $40 all-play pass, which means that as an individual, you get to play in any event that you qualify for. So if you were 55 years old, you would qualify for the co-ed tournament, the blind draw tournament, the seniors tournament, the doubles tournament, and the singles tournament. So for $40, you're getting into each tournament for basically $8.
How does one qualify?
Or they don't have to qualify. They just have to buy their membership, and then they have to buy the ticket. They have to buy the ticket for the tournament, and then they're qualified.
And then there's no individual entry fee into a tournament.
It's $40. You can buy individual
one time though. You pay that one time.
One time for that specific tournament that weekend. Correct. So that
you got to be charged your entry fee to individual tournaments. You're not going to make any money that way. You got to charge like $20 to play in a tournament.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to play in an individual tournament, like just the co-ed tournament, it costs them like $15 or $20.
All right. But this is all doubles then?
Nope. There's the world singles is singles. The doubles division is doubles, and then co-ed is doubles. But then seniors, women's, juniors are all right now singles divisions, and then next season we're looking at probably adding doubles seniors and doubles women's as well.
All right, so Steve, you can always join the doubles women's or something.
Well, this is on a real front. This is pretty cool too. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I assume you would be with AAU, the Amateur Athletic Union. We are going to be running. So we're added them to our mix and working with them. We're going to be showcasing at the Junior Olympics in Greensboro, North Carolina, this August 2nd and 3rd. We're going to be showcasing Cornhole, ACO Cornhole, at the Junior Olympics with the AAU. So that's pretty exciting news for our juniors division.
All right.
So the question then is if you're like the AAU, you guys offer shoe contracts?
Yeah, we got wristband contracts, jersey contracts, short shoes, all sorts of contracts.
To be seriously, the ACO digital network looks interesting to me because if they've got a Fire Stick or a Roku, they can download this and have access also.
Yep, and it's all free right now for people to go out and check out all the old, like I said, new content is there as well as past history. There's a really cool show on there called Brotherhood of Bags. That a gentleman, Paul Nelson from Chicago, put together maybe 7-8 years ago. That was a documentary on the development of the sport and the history of cornhole, and it's a pretty cool piece that aired on PBS up in the Chicago market.
All right, so like on your Heartland Conference Championship, how many entries will you have in that?
We'll probably have about 150, maybe as many as 200, but I think 150 will be probably where we'll end up, coming in there.
Is that single elimination?
Double elimination. So player, and you have to lose twice in each of the divisions that you're qualified for and wanting to compete.
Yeah.
And anybody from those 4 states, again, the Heartland consists of Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, and Ohio. You have to be a resident of one of those 4 states to be eligible, and then you have to be a member of the ACO, and then you just have to buy your entry fee for whichever tournaments you want to compete in. And I think I don't know what the breakdown is, but that one does have a little bit of purse money tied to it. I think it's a couple $1,000s tied around that event.
You guys have dress code?
You have to wear shoes. So we did have some players that used to like playing barefoot. Sometimes we let them get away with it at certain tournaments. We don't get hardcore unless they're on TV and stuff like that. And we prefer no cutoff shirts for our streaming televised stuff. But we don't call them out if they're not going to be on TV with the cutoff sleeves and stuff. But we do like to try to dress our players up a little bit nicer with jerseys and things. Because several years back I was in New York meeting with Fox Sports and ESPN at the time. And one of the things that both networks told me was we used to run our championships in January. And, January is just a big time in the world of sports with everything going on from the Super Bowl to hockey to, NCAA basketball, et cetera. So it was a crowded market that they said, you need to get out of this space. You should move your world championships to the summertime where there's not as much going on in the month of July and really not anything at all other than the baseball all-star break. So we ended up flip-flopping our seasons and moving our world championships to July. And I can't remember actually what I was getting ready to tell you there. I lost my train of thought with that. But we did flip-flop. Oh, I was out in it was dress code. So I was out in New York, and that was one of the suggestions that ESPN and Fox both made to us when we were out there. And then the other suggestion that I walked away with that was huge was at the time, players were just wearing T-shirts and wearing cutoff stuff, and they looked at our footage of our past champions and everything else, and they said, you've really done a great job building this sport, and you're really doing the things the right way. The one thing we also would suggest is gearing your players up to look like pros. So that's when we started the trend in the industry of going out there and getting jerseys printed with with our logo on it and sponsor logos on it, and trying to dress our players up to look more professional on the court, especially when it came to the big times.
And I've flipped through TV and I've seen cornhole on TV. Is that you guys? I don't know where I saw it.
That is not us with ESPN at this point in time. That is a different group out there. But we've been on TV and we'll be back on TV in a more full-streamed light in the coming year. We have been on ESPN. Kenny Mayne, I don't know if you're familiar with Kenny Mayne from ESPN.
Yeah, Kenny and Jerry Rice. Kenny Mayne and Jerry Rice. Are you kidding me? Dance Studio. Dance with the Stars.
Oh, geez. Here we go with reality TV again. I apologize, Frank.
Those two guys were the funniest skits on TV when you get Jerry Rice and Kenny Mayne together doing Dancing with the Stars.
Sounds funny.
So Kenny Mayne came out to our World Championships. I think it was 5 years ago now. I'm not positive, but and he did a show. He came out for 3 or 4 days and filmed, and he did a show. It used to be called Wider World of Sports, and we were featured on that episode of Kenny Mayne's. And then back in a few years ago, ESPN came out to our World Championships in Knoxville, Tennessee, where they came out and did like a game day presentation, how they do for college football and stuff like that. So they came out, basically set up their stage in the center of our facility and broadcast, live from there. They brought in the big bus and everything else. The one thing that we haven't done, to this point is, really paid money to get on the television. We've really been working to be the NFL, the NBA of the sport of cornhole, both nationally and internationally, and grow the sport where some network, whether it be Amazon or Yahoo or ESPN or Fox, wants to buy into our programming. And have been working on building that programming. Like I mentioned, we have 24 majors this past year in 21 states across the country that are, 2-day events at really great facilities that are usually convention centers or big indoor sports arenas, and really set ourselves up, to have an official tour that again can be streamed and also broadcast, et cetera.
All right, I have some questions from some listeners. This is on Twitter. If you have any questions, of course, as always, you can direct messages at Grueling Truth or on Spreaker. We've got Brian from Rushville, Indiana, that wants to know where in Cincinnati the Heartland Conference Championships will be.
It's going to be at Westside Live. It's a facility on the west side of Cincinnati. He can find out the details to it, too, at AmericanCornhole.com, or feel free to send us an email with any questions to play, T-L-A-Y, at AmericanCornhole.com. And it is that weekend of June 14th and 15th.
Now, is this indoors or outdoors?
It is indoors.
Indoors? All right. Is that the Western Sports Mall?
Yep. That's what it used to be. A new group has bought it, and they're refurnishing it, and refurbishing it, and turning it over to a new generation.
Yeah, I used to play basketball over there in an adult men's league in like the early '90s.
Yeah, they've got several courts over there. I think they're actually, it won't be there by the time we get there, but there's consideration. They're going to be putting a brewery in there and a couple restaurants, and they're redoing some of the floors over there for the basketball courts and setting up another little bar in there, and so it's really a cool establishment.
All right, Betty from Bloomington wants to know why Steve Risley will not play Mike in Las Vegas.
I didn't say I wouldn't.
You didn't answer the question.
I live in Los Angeles. There's a bunch of social things going on. I got to check my calendar.
You don't have anything to do, Risley. We're here every day at noon. You've never called me and said, "Oh, my social calendar says I've got things to do."
Mike, it's 9 o'clock out here. I have a full day slated in front of me. Remember,
what are your plans today, Risley? Frank wants to know too. I think. What are your plans for the rest of this day?
I think I'm taking my dogs to the beach, Malibu Beach, today, and let them play in the ocean.
I think he's going to get himself a cornhole board and start training.
Yeah, he's going to have to.
I already have a cornhole board. I have a Colts cornhole board. It's probably not official looking at your...
It's not official if it's a Colts one because the Colts are stupid.
I know. Well, okay. Anyway, I did notice, too, Frank, that you have very rigid rules about your equipment, and I also noticed you have an ACO shop, which means that you will sell the equipment that you have to buy. Nice move.
But this is the thing also, because I know from talking to Frank and looking around Walmart last night, you could actually buy American Cornhole organization gear or boards at most Walmarts in the country now, can't you?
So yeah, let me paint the picture of what that is. We have a great relationship. We struck a deal with a company called East Point Sports back in September. They came on board to represent the ACO brand in the big box stores. And they are creating lines of products for us that are now entry-level, board game products to the sport of cornhole, mid-range level, and then higher-end stuff. So the first product launch that they did for the ACO was actually entry-level equipment. So they have now put us into 3,800 Walmart stores across the country, starting this July. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I lost you for a second there. Starting this March, they entered those 3,800 stores, and they have 3 different SKUs. They've got bags that they sell. They sell a case of 4 red bags and a case of 4 blue bags in their own little carry tote, $9.95. It's phenomenal. Like our bags, like our Pro bag, I sell our Pro bag for $39 for a set of 4. So at Walmart, you can go in and get 10 bags, and they're not exactly like our Pro bags, but they're very good bags. They're 2-sided. They got a slick side, a stick side, very well manufactured, very durable, outstanding product for the general backyarder. And as a matter of fact, a lot of our certified officials and men and women that are doing stuff with us who make their own boards and bags that they sell are now continuing to make their own boards, but they're actually going out there and buying these bags and starting to, deliver them with the boards that they're manufacturing themselves. But then they have a board in Walmart that sells with a set of 8 bags in the boards for $49. And then just for your listeners and stuff like that, if anybody's interested, there's a program we have going on right now where all you have to do is go to your local Walmart store, take a picture of you in front of the boards, and then put that on your Facebook page and tag the ACO in that. You have a chance to win a $100 gift card at Walmart. We're giving away, 5 $100 gift cards on May 15th. So if anybody's interested, go out and do that. It's a cool little way. But yeah, the product in Walmart is very, very cool. The brand is out there. So Mike, you're right. You did see us in Walmart, if that was a fact.
See, I know a lot of things, Steve, because I go out. I just don't go hang out at a beach with my dogs.
Well, in California, they don't really allow Walmarts in California. I don't think there's very many Walmarts in California. At least they're not in the SoCal area.
The more you tell me about LA, the more I find it hard to believe that they allowed you in California.
Frank, I got to give you credit though. I'm looking at your Heartland jersey right now. It's a sweet looking jersey, and red with the all the states and everything logo on it. Your logo on the front, nice. And I do applaud you for this. I looked at your sizes. You go all the way up to 5XL. Given the fact that you promote alcohol, so much. I mean, you get some big bucks.
He didn't promote it. He just doesn't discourage it. There's a difference.
Yeah, let's say, but I give you credit for at least going up to 5XL because I'm guessing you get some pretty big boys playing this game across the board. So
there are definitely some big people. There are some big people that play this game.
But your jerseys, you do have a whole slew of jerseys for each of the tournaments out here. Those are pretty nice. I'm looking at those right now. I got to get my one for Father's Day.
There's cool,
you ought to
cool
get me something.
Jerseys like you mentioned.
I like hoodies, Steve.
I give you my presents, Mike. That's enough.
Yeah. All right.
So you're talking about the jerseys. One of the cool things that we do offer up, for our players is they're competing for. We don't give away traditional, trophies. We give away, jerseys, and we have the coveted. We have the coveted kind of purple jersey. That is, if a player wins a major tournament, they win a purple jersey. So we've done a lot with color structure. So in our rankings, we have a thing called the Corny 40. The Corny 40 is those top 40 players in the world at the end of a season. They earn the rights to the Corny 40 jersey, which is a yellow jersey that we create. And then in doubles, we have the top 20 teams in the country earn what's called the Top Gun status. And if you're in the Top Gun, you're in Top Gun 20. It means you and your partner were one of the top 20 teams in the world that season. So those Top Gun jerseys are orange. So we've created these different, color things. And, the Masters, that just occurred with Tiger winning that, they've got the green jacket. Well, we've got a green that we use, a Kelly green color, for our player of the season or team of the season. So if ever you see a player wearing a jersey that is green with the big ACO logo on it, immediately when you walk into a tournament, that person won a player of the season or won a team of the season. So it's kind of cool. Color coding program that we put in place.
I did notice you're kind of ripping off of the sports. We Are Cornhole. Isn't that from the movie Marshall?
No, because Cornhole was around before Marshall. Well, not really, but before the movie.
Not really, yeah. And then now you got green. Don't let Augusta know you're doing it. They'll come after you.
Why would they go after him for a purple T-shirt? What's that got to do with the green jacket?
Green. They own that color.
They do?
What is the...
They own that color.
Explain to me...
Why don't they go after the Boston Celtics then, Steve?
Okay, hang on. Explain to me the $1,595 Tailgate World Championship qualifier package. What do I get for $1,500?
So you get a 5-room night stay at the Westgate Casino Resort. You get 2 custom jerseys.
Okay. Yeah.
You get 2 custom jerseys for you and a partner. You get your entry fee. So as an individual, the entry fee is $250 a person to play in the week-long tournament. So it's a week-long tournament. You get membership for next season with the ACO. You get entry into a couple of majors next year. And there's a couple other things on top of that, but those are some of the main things that you get. Now, we also, you don't have to buy the package and get the hotel night stay and everything. You can just buy a ticket to the Tailgater event, and that's $250 for a team, $125 a guy. And it gets you into 5 different tournaments that will take place Tuesday through Saturday at the Westgate.
I know why Risley's thinking about that. He's thinking about buying that for me for Father's Day, aren't you, Risley?
I'll get my credit card out right now. I'd be the only one that sells, but that's all right.
Well, the idea with that was is to get bars and restaurants and places like that around the country the opportunity to offer a pretty cool package for some of their patrons of their place and send them out to be part of the festivities at the World Championships. So it's a pretty neat program that we've got going on, and this is our first year to introduce it. And you don't have to be qualified like everybody else has to be qualified points wise and stuff like that to compete in the world's main events. So we created this event as a standalone for those players that just started hearing about the ACO and didn't get a chance to compete to qualify for the Worlds, but want to come out and be part of the party because the party at the World Championships is absolutely awesome. It's second to none in terms of tailgating, just having a good time. So this gives those players that didn't get the chance to be a part of it a chance to come out and be a part of it if they still want to.
All right, sounds good. Steve, any more questions?
Yeah. Do you have a sponsor for the league?
We do not have a main sponsor. We've got some small sponsors that we've started working with, a couple hoteliers. We're working heavily to try to get a main beer company on board with us one of these days soon. So we do not have any overriding one title sponsor yet, but working on that.
I'm seeing a lot of blank space on these bean bags. A lot of places put advertisers' logos on them right there.
Well, there's a multi. We're creating a made-for-TV show too from the World Championships. So we got a fun guy that's going to be coming out and being a part of the World Championships with us this year too. So that'll be kind of a surprise. He's going to come out and spend the week with us doing some emceeing and talking. And we recently brought on board a guy by the name of Tom Brinkets, who is involved with sports science and ESPN. He's now a small partner in the company, really from a consultant standpoint as we move towards building TV and some of our additional brands and stuff like that. So excited to have him in the mix. And I think he's trying to be out there at the World Championships. He might be able to commentate the match between you two that we're going to put on 3 o'clock on that Saturday there.
If Steve's not afraid. Steve's afraid. I mean, I'm sorry, Frank, but he is. He's running.
We'll make it happen.
He's running.
But anyway, so again, check out the digital network, like you said, Mike, or at the wearecornhole.com. It is pretty cool. It's got a lot of great things in it, and it's a great way if you're new to the sport of cornhole to learn how to play by watching these different players pitch. And everybody's got a different technique, but really the object is to keep that bag flat as you can, straight as you can, and headed towards the hole, and you're going to be a fine cornhole player with just a little bit of spin. And if you need to check out AmericanCornhole.com, it's just AmericanCornhole.com, and we've got all the rules and regulations and rankings. And
I'm on the website right now. Yeah, it's a well organized website.
Yeah, it's a great website. And I did check out your page on my Roku and my Fire Stick last night. And I think it's impressive. I think it's something that'll do well. Now, the question is, we've got Lucas I think he's from Toronto. He wants to know if you think this game would probably be too complicated for Canadians.
Well, Lucas from Toronto, come on down and compete at the World Championships. You have an international, bypass rule, so you can qualify for the Worlds by just being an international player right now. All you have to do is buy your ticket.
So could we say that Lucas could come down? We could have Lucas from Canada challenge me and Steve. It'll be a little bit like Red Dawn.
Lucas is the most
unathletic.
I know. I love that movie.
Unathletic human being who participates as an athletic sports writer. He has no athletic.
Dude, you've never been to a media credential room at the NCAA tournament, have you?
Yeah, I have actually.
Okay, well then most of those guys don't look real athletic except for the ones that work for CBS.
Frank, I got one more question for you, and the last one I'll ask. Have you considered applying for Olympic status yet?
Actually, the documentary that I was talking about, he did go through the process of getting a petition filled out in the United States to take his step one with it. We have been researching. There's a lot of complexity to actually making it an Olympic sport, but certainly we believe that someday it can and will be. We just need to get more international countries involved, because I forget what it is, but I think there has to be like 28 countries or something like that recognize it as a sport.
All right, Frank.
Well,
you want to
question
Go ahead. You got another one?
No, I'm done. I'm questioned
out. Okay. You're questioned out. All right. Tell us again where everybody can find out more about the American Cornhole organization, Frank.
Well, two things. If somebody wants to ask us a direct question, please just email us to play@americancornhole.com. If you want to go out and check out our website, just go to AmericanCornhole.com, www.americancornhole.com. And if you want to just watch some fun footage of cornhole players playing, go to our digital network. ACO Digital Network is wearecornhole.com.
All right. And we need to
like
get a petition.
On Facebook.
We need to get a petition up for Steve Risley to show up and play me. So.
Well, we'll do that. We can put some kind of promo on our Facebook.
He's running. You didn't say you would, Steve.
So I just need to get 2 good photographs of you two so I can do like a head-to-head like.
There are no good photographs of Risley.
Facebook page.
Well, you knew that was coming.
All right, Frank. We'll have you back, and you can keep us updated on how everything's going. Maybe we'll have you back before the Cincinnati tournament, and maybe before the Worlds. But we want to thank you for coming on today.
Well, I appreciate it, and definitely let me know, Mike, if you plan on coming to that event in Cincinnati, because I'll get you set up and on the roster to compete.
All right, as long as I don't need a partner, as long as I can be in the singles.
You can be in the singles. Just stop by on Saturday and chill with us for a minute. But thanks again for having me on the show, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot, Frank.
Take care.
That's Frank Geers from the American Cornhole Organization. We want to thank him. Steve?
Yo.
So we going to do this in Vegas or what?
I got to look at my schedule. I mean, it's 4th of July weekend. I don't know what my wife's got planned. And,
You could take your wife to Vegas for the weekend. I'm sure she would hate that.
Yeah, and that would be an expensive foray because she would find the shops at Caesars. And I got burned that way last time I went to Vegas. We didn't gamble. We don't gamble. But she found the shops at Vegas and the Palazzo and Venetian. And I wish I'd have just gambled. I'd have lost less money.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Tomorrow we will be back to talk a little NBA playoffs, maybe some NHL playoffs. So make sure you come back and check us out at noon. Me and Bobby Sheridan will be in about an hour on the Sheridan Report. Me and Jeremiah Price are tonight at 11 with Inside Boxing Daily. Make sure you go check out mybookie.ag. Also,
Mike,
what?
We'll have NASCAR show tomorrow night, put up tomorrow night, recapping Talladega. And looking at the next race coming up this weekend. And I believe it's Concord.
All right.
Go back to short track racing.
All right, so make sure you check out.
Monumental Talladega win. A boy Chase Elliott.
It's not a NASCAR show, Steve. It's Shake and Bake, the NASCAR show.
Yeah, well, I don't know that Alex and I have settled on that yet.
Well, it doesn't matter because I already settled for you. We got more listeners on this show when we had it like that too.
Yeah, why do I have 26 text messages from Lucas? Does that man have nothing better to do with his life?
He has absolutely nothing better to do. I think
I know, 26 text messages from Lucas.
You know what? I figured Lucas out, I think. I don't even think he goes to events. I think that he is in an insane asylum in Toronto. And I think that the only reason he can come on the shows like once a month for an hour is because that's all he's allowed to be on the phone.
Because, he gets a day pass or something.
Yeah. And I think that in the insane asylum that he has probably figured out a way to superimpose his picture like at the Super Bowl and the Final Four and stuff like that. So that's what I think has happened there. I think that Lucas could be Jason from Friday the 13th.
He could be.
He could be.
26, that's almost stalking. 26 text messages while we were talking from Lucas.
Well, if there's another one because you won't turn your damn
27.
phone off. And Lucas, I just want to let the listeners know that Lucas said this. Thank you for talking about me, guys. Sometimes I say bad things, but, you know, I do live in an insane asylum. But, and Lucas,
we love you to death.
Lucas, we're planning a Friday show. If you could get your handlers to get you on the phone for about an hour on the 10 biggest choke jobs in sports history. So make sure you guys check that out on Friday. Yeah, Sam, who is our hockey guy, wants to come on, so I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of inane hockey stuff. And, you know, Lucas will have somebody to talk with about it. So
come on, Lucas. Get on Friday with us. Do 10 biggest choke jobs.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up. Lucas, we love you, even though you're Canadian. All right. You can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, Zeno Live, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher. Download our app on iTunes, Spotify. Wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.